coming up tonight on Primetime Local News.
Red lights, blue lights, red lights everywhere.
More on the powerful story of a man from Onion Lake. And Turtleford bands together for a community harvest. Plus our weekly edition of Beyond the Classroom.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
With many students entering their last grade of their schooling experience, taking the next step is nothing less than daunting. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how Lloyd Comp has made an effort to set their students up for success. College Day at Lloyd Comp is an opportunity for students to learn more about the post-secondary schools in Saskatchewan. The school finds hosting these career events necessary, as living on the border makes things confusing for their next step.
We have a lot of different types of institutions in both Alberta and Saskatchewan that have different needs and different requirements. And so this is a great day for students to be able to get their questions answered very specifically by the institutions. It allows us counselors to be able to get more resources for them, more booklets, more hands-on information for them, and get them really excited about post-secondary options for sure.
Grade 12 students have the most to gain from College Day, knowing they need to make a decision on their future within the school year.
I've learned a lot about their psychology and biology programs. They definitely have a lot of options, but I've also seen a lot of trades, which is really nice, but they've definitely taught a lot about how to apply. It has really helped. I want to go to U of S, so it's really nice that they are here today, but it's definitely helped give me a lot of options on the classes that I can take and stuff.
LPSD is eager to continue to host these career fair type events, as they pride themselves on their connection to post-secondary institutions.
We have to have all this information for our students in order to keep them up to date, competitive, in order to get into these programs. So it's a really great opportunity for us to share in our partnerships with these institutions and make sure our students are the most informed they can be to reach their goals.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
A Lloydminster area musician is creating hip-hop as a way to recover from a tragic accident. Our Lane Hoffert has more.
Justin Carter is an Indigenous hip-hop artist from Onion Lake, Saskatchewan. Carter was severely injured in a fire and is finding his way to recovery by creating and performing music.
It's a form of therapy for me. It helps me just release whatever, because I have a hard time speaking, just telling people how I feel and stuff. But it's easier through music, and it's fun and it sounds better.
Carter's music is deeply personal and is often about his feelings and emotions, but that wasn't always the case. Like many artists, Carter's sound evolved to become what it is today.
I like to sing a lot about my emotions and how I feel, and it just comes out and very you can feel it. You can feel the emotions and stuff. It's not. I used to rap about doing gangster things in 2009, but it was fun and stuff. But I like this approach way better. It's more honest and sincere.
Carter isn't just using his music to tell his own story. His songs are often about important parts of the Indigenous experience as a whole, like the impact of residential schools. Carter sometimes even sings in his native language to enhance the story.
I even put our language in my music, so that's something that not a lot of artists do, so it's good to kind of experiment with that and have fun. And it's becoming, actually, Indigenous hip-hop is actually on the rise. It's blowing up pretty good, so.
Justin Carter has a show at Cheers Live in Lloydminster tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. with fellow hip-hop artist Mad Child. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News.
It is insane to think that it is basically summer weather outside right now.
Absolutely. Real warm day out right now in Lloydminster. It's given me flashes of July and August for sure.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we're in the fall season now. It's almost October, I think. What's that? 5 days away, and
Yeah.
we're still getting that summer weather. So I guess we'll enjoy it while we still have it here. Currently 29 degrees here in Lloydminster. Got a bit of wind there, 22 kilometers an hour, and a little bit of clouds as well. But overall, it's a beautiful day out. Enjoy it. Yeah, warm weather for sure. Don't know how much longer we're going to have that for. So let's just enjoy every day that we get like this. 29 degrees, that's almost 30. And you can see Lloydminster is not the only warm place right now. Looks like everywhere is kind of experiencing the same sort of thing. You can see there Lac La Biche is the coolest, and that's still 21 degrees. Cold Lake is not very cold today, 26 degrees. Bonnyville and St. Paul, 27. Edmonton and Vegreville, 24. Vermilion, 29 degrees, just like Lloydminster there. And Wainwright is 31 degrees, and Provost, 32. Now we take a look over on the Saskatchewan side, and it's more the same story. Down there you can see Macklin and North Battleford, 32 degrees. Meadow Lake and Maidstone, 30. St. Walburg, 28. And Pierceland, 26, along with Isle Cross up there. And Green Lake is 27 degrees. You can see here tonight in North Battleford, it's going to get down to 15 degrees. So still a nice warm night there. Increasing clouds. It'll be breezy later on in the night there. You can see 22 kilometer an hour winds. So just a nice mildly windy, nice kind of lightly coolish warm night in North Battleford there. And tomorrow in North Battleford, it's going to be a cooler day there. It's going to be 19 degrees, so not quite what they're experiencing today there. They're pushing 30, and it'll be 19 there tomorrow. Breezy and cooler with more clouds outside than sun, so those clouds will probably be what's contributing to that cooler weather. Still 22 kilometer an hour winds. Cold Lake, they're going to get some showers later on in the night there. It'll be 10 degrees, 13 kilometer an hour wind. It's a little bit less windy than other parts of the region, but instead they're getting that rain. Now tomorrow in Cold Lake, it'll be 15 and rainy as well with 22 kilometer an hour winds. Now tonight in Lloydminster, 10 degrees and breezy this evening with some clouds, 25% chance of precipitation and a little bit of wind yet. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. You can see it'll start out cloudy at 6 a.m., 13 degrees. Noon it'll be cloudy and 11, so definitely not the same kind of day as today. 6 p.m. it'll be 15 degrees with a bit more clouds. And then we'll get a nice clear midnight with 6 degrees there once again. Now let's take a look at your 3-day forecast. You can see Thursday the high is 16 with a low of 6. Friday will be sunnier with a high of 20 and a low of 5, and Saturday a high of 17 and a low of 4. We're going to have more news after the break here.
Turtleford Community Field has for many years been a major fundraiser for the community. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
The field is located just north of Turtleford, and every year local farmers and businesses come together to help with all the inputs and harvesting of the field and donate all the proceeds back to Turtleford.
Yeah, it's good. I was raised in the Turtleford area here, so it's good to come back and be able to help out. And we do this every few years. We are able to come and take the harvest off or assist with the harvest. There's usually lots of other farms and combines here, so it's always good and it's an enjoyable day.
The combine that was used to harvest the field is a new generation CR combine, donated by Doug Novlin, owner of Novlin Brothers, who also helped to develop the first generation CR combine.
We have this new CR11 that we just introduced this year. I was heavily involved with this thing for about the last 10 years. So I just want to thank the customers for signing non-disclosure forms and working hard with us to get the combine where it is today. It does have some unique features that other combines don't have at present. So we were looking at efficiency, easy for the customers to service and not having to get out of the cab to do any adjustments.
Novlin Brothers allowed customers to test out the combine as well on the field, and that relationship with the producers and local community is incredibly important for them.
Us dealers, we sort of want to go in one direction, but it really helps if the customer supports us and makes it so that we can put it to the engineers, because sometimes they're a little harder to convince that you need this and do that. So, you know, putting the radiators and fans underneath the grain tank, thank God we had farmer support there, because that's uniquely different too.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
An Adele Tribute show is planned for the Vic Juba Community Theater next week. Stacey Comer spoke with the artist performing the songs that are known so well to so many.
I have a familiar face joining me today on Primetime Local News. Ashley Barodi is here. Ashley, you are going to be performing at the Vic Juba Theater next week. Ashley, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me again, Stacey.
Well, this is so exciting. Your performance is a tribute to Adele. So, for those who maybe didn't catch the first interview, tell me why it is that you chose to do an Adele tribute.
So, friends of mine who are also my manager and agent, they encouraged me to do an Adele tribute every time I sing Adele. They said you got to do it. So I was like skeptical in the beginning because I knew it was going to be a really big challenge. So as I just progressed and started doing it, I was like, okay, let's just go for it. So yeah, brought me here.
And do you perform all of her hits basically? Are there some B-side songs that you do, or what can people expect when you step on the stage?
Yeah, so I do try and hit her major hits, but I also try and incorporate songs that you might not always hear or you haven't heard before, because I think it's important to show all sides of her artistry, and I just really love all of her songs. Her hits are really fun. Obviously, everybody likes them. They're hits for a reason, but I think that a lot of her other songs are underestimated.
What is the reaction, Ashley, when you perform these songs? Do you get a lot of people that are singing along with you?
Yes, there are some people singing along. I feel like everybody's just in it, and it's different for me, like playing in a band that compared to, doing an Adele tribute. Like if you're in a bar or a noisy environment or whatever, like you're playing and people are chatting and whatever. And while this Adele tribute, it just seems like everybody's just zoned in and focused. And yeah, all the smiles and all the reactions and everything is it's really special.
And do you bring a band with you, Ashley, or do you sing with recorded tracks?
No, it will be full band live like performance. So we have a drummer, we have a bass player. My husband Dylan is the piano player, and we do have a full string quartet coming from Calgary.
Well, this sounds like it's going to be an amazing show, Ashley. For people who are, maybe know some of Adele's music, but might not be the biggest fans, why would you tell them to come out as well?
I think it just surprises people who aren't an Adele fan. So I had this one guy. I had said this prior before on another interview, but this guy, he had never really listened to Adele before. He didn't really know much about her, and he came. He said, "My wife drugged me here. I came to this winery in Prince George." And he comes up and he's like, "That was amazing. It was awesome." And so he was so excited about it that really stood out for me, because I was like, this guy, had a Jays cap on and a Jays shirt, and he was like, I was at home on my couch and my wife drugged me here, and it's like the best thing that ever happened. And so meeting people like that is just cool to just change their mind. He's like, I'm going home and I'm listening to Adele, and so that's very cool.
And do you meet some of the fans afterwards too, or prior to? Is there a chance for
Yeah,
like if people
after
want to sign?
oh yeah, sorry. Usually
Yeah.
before, it's a lot of preparation before, because obviously you're doing hair and makeup, and then you're going through rehearsal, sound check, and all of that, and then you want to get into a good headspace before the performance. So afterwards, definitely, I'm gonna make a point of it at every show that if anybody wants to come meet me, that would be amazing.
So for the show in Lloydminster, Ashley, what time does it start and where can people get tickets?
7 p.m. at the Vic Juba Theater. So you can get tickets on the Vic um, Juba Theater website, the community theater website. And they're $60. And tell all your friends, it's going to be a good time. We're over half sold now, so that's exciting.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Ashley. So once again, this is Ashley Brody doing an Adele tribute, and it will be October 4th at the Vic Juba Theater. Ashley, we're so excited to see you and can't wait to watch what you do on stage and feel just like we're at that Adele residency in Vegas.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I look forward to seeing you.
Now it's time to look at your adorable animals and our pet picks of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Introducing your child to a new partner when you have been through separation or divorce can sometimes be a difficult process. Stacey Comer has tips on how to make it an easier process.
It's that time of the week when Stephanie Dobson joins us. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Lloydminster and Edmonton. And it's time for another episode of Healthy, Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks again for having me, Stacey.
The topic this week is something that is interesting and must be very delicate in a lot of situations, and that is how to introduce your kids to a new partner when you as a couple are going through separation and divorce. So let's start out by talking about when is the right time to do that. And I'm guessing it's probably different depending on each situation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not necessarily about the exact number of weeks or months or the particular timing. It should be guided by certain things. And it's, as you say, it's different in each situation. So the first thing is emotional readiness. And the second thing is the status of the relationship. So on the emotional readiness front, it's really important that you and your children are both or all of you are emotionally ready for such an introduction. Definitely having dealt with the first phases of the divorce and really being in a stable place are really important. So on the status of the relationship, it's really important to wait until that new relationship is in a serious and stable place. It may go without saying before introducing to a new partner. It really prevents the kids from experiencing, we'll call it a parade of unfamiliar faces, and it just minimizes some confusion on their part.
Now, if that first meeting does go well, Stephanie, how do you then progress from there?
So it's really important to talk with the children about the new partner before you introduce. So we'll talk about sort of how we make sure that that first meeting does go well. So explaining who they are, maybe even how you met and why that person is important to you, and encourage the questions from the kids and really be open to their feelings. So from there, we're going to assess the kids' feelings. So really considering the kids' emotions, their responses. Sometimes it takes them a little while to get used to an idea. So even trying to talk with them about it a number of days before you do the actual introduction can really be helpful. And then they may have some fears or anxiety about the changes. And so really giving them that time can really help. And then we want to really start with casual introductions. So reducing the pressure of that introduction. So really some fun, low pressure activities in a public spot can really help. And then afterwards, after that introduction has been made, is really to check in regularly with your kids to see how they're doing with that.
And so, what are some of the things that can be done to make sure that this is a successful situation? That the scenario is going to keep working and be beneficial to both sides.
Yeah, so similar to what I just outlined, it's really important to allow the kids to set the pace for the relationship with the new partner. So they may take some time to adjust, whether it's adjusting to the idea of a new partner, adjusting to the idea of the introduction, adjusting to the relationship with the new partner. So just making sure that both the new partner and the kids know that that relationship is expected to develop gradually. So setting some reasonable expectations, and then really observing the reactions of the kids. So paying attention to how they respond during and after that introduction. So if they feel uncomfortable, give them some space and give them some opportunity to express their feelings and really address some concerns. If the kids set some boundaries, let them know that that's okay. And then on the new partners front, you can teach your new partner about your kids, let them know about their interests and their activities and their school and the sort of the things that the kids are involved in, and really gives the new partner as much positive opportunity as possible to show that the children are cared for and that the new partner really wants to know and be involved in their life.
Now, on the flip side of this, Stephanie, what are some of the things that you should avoid?
Well, let's just maybe sum it up by saying avoid the opposite of what we just talked about. So really avoiding some unreasonable expectations, some inappropriate timing, even being too soon in the relationship or too volatile of the relationship. Avoid private settings. So instead of being at the family home, sometimes it's better to be at a park or at a restaurant or something like that. And really make sure that you avoid ignoring. So in other words, pay attention to boundaries that your kids put up. Avoid also discussing any part of the divorce or the other parent during the interaction. So really just keep it focused on a really light-hearted conversation. We talked about gradual introductions, but it's really important to avoid forcing your kids to interact with your new partner if they're not ready. So again, if the kids put up those boundaries, let them know that that's okay for them to have mixed emotions.
All right, Stephanie, well, there's so much to consider with separation and divorce. And just when I think we've covered every possible topic, there's something else new to discuss. So thank you so much for the chat today, and we'll be back again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey, for having me.
Coming up after the break, our Lane Hoffert will have an extended look at our evening weather forecast.
Hello, we're back here with another look at your weather. You can see it's still 29 degrees here in Lloydminster, 22 km/h winds, and still a nice day out here and throughout pretty much all of Alberta and Saskatchewan. We'll take a look here at the temperatures going on. You can see, it's cooled off, towards the west there. Whitecourt and Edson there, 17 degrees, and Jasper, 16 degrees. But Athabasca and Edmonton are 24 there, Rocky Mountain House 23, and Red Deer getting a little warmer there, 30. You can see Cold Lake just went up to 27 degrees. Now over in Saskatchewan, it's in the 30s. It's real warm there. Prince Albert and Saskatoon, 32 degrees. Meadow Lake, 30 degrees, and Melfort and North Battleford, 31 degrees. Moving up north, you can see it's cooler there. Uranium City, 12 degrees there for all 73 people who live there. Stony Rapids, 13 degrees. Wollaston Lake and South End Reindeer, 21 degrees. Flin Flon, 24, and La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, both 25 degrees. Moving into northern Alberta, you can see it is a bit cooler there. High Level and Slave Lake there, 16 degrees. Grand Prairie, 15. Fort Chipewyan, 17. Peace River, 18, and Fort McMurray, 21. Now moving into southern Alberta, you can see it's really getting to those warmer temperatures there. Banff, 24 degrees, Coronation, 29, Calgary, 28, Lethbridge, 29 there, and Medicine Hat, 31. Now we can see in Saskatchewan, it's all 30s. You can see Kindersley there, 32 degrees, Moose Jaw, 33, Regina, 32, Yorkton, 30, and Swift Current and Estevan, 31 degrees. real warm there in both provinces. Now tonight it's going to be nice and cool in North Battleford, going to get down to 15 degrees. Mild with some increasing clouds you can see there, so a little bit of a cloudier night, maybe not able to see all of the stars, but you can enjoy that nice 15 degrees and the 22-kilometer-an-hour winds. Now tonight in Cold Lake, we're going to get some rain actually there, partly cloudy with a couple of showers, 13-kilometer-an-hour winds and 10 degrees. So it'll be a little more cool, a little more cloudy, and a little more rainy in Cold Lake than it is in North Battleford. But the temperature is going to stay the same in Lloydminster there, 10 degrees, breezy in the evening with some increasing clouds, and 20-kilometer-an-hour winds, 25% chance of precipitation, so maybe we'll see some, but you know, it's a quarter of a chance there, so not a huge chance. Now let's take a look at the other temperatures throughout the night all over the region. You can see here Meadow Lake and Isle Lacrosse both 13 degrees, Bonnyville 9 degrees, Provost 10 degrees, and Paradise Hill 12 degrees there. You can see a little bit of rain in Bonnyville and Paradise Hill, otherwise no rain. And you can see Mirnam 8 degrees, Pierceland 11, Unity 12, Wainwright 9, and Calgary 7, all with some clear skies and a little bit of clouds there, but no rain throughout. Now for your 7-day forecast, you can see today's the warmest of the bunch. It's going to be cool from here on out, kind of. Thursday, 16 degrees will be the high. Friday, 20 will be the high. Saturday, 17 will be the high. And Sunday, we're going to get some rain. Monday will be a nice day for your long weekend, though. Breezy in the morning and a high of 13 there. So should be some nice weather throughout the week. A little bit of clouds and a little bit of rain, but overall, yeah.
It's a bit jarring to see today's temperature compared to just tomorrow, how it's going to be a lot different, but it's still sunny skies, so we can't complain too much. And it is still September, so we can't complain too much. And that is all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.